Good morning, traders. In this video, we're going to go through how to screen for stocks that you want to trade in your wheel strategy. Stocks that are good for covered calls, stocks that are good for cash secured puts, based on the criteria that you select. And I'm going to give you a preset set of settings that you can utilize to get there quicker. So the first thing I want to show you is our watch list here. If you click this down button, you're going to get several different lists that you can work with. Fallen angels, that's stocks that have dropped quite a bit. And if you high premium, high risk, that says what it is. High premium, high quality. Wheel Kings under 25, 25 to 50. You can select any one of these lists. Mega cap Wheel Kings. All right, let's go to Fallen Angels, select that list, and you're going to get a list here that gives you 21 Fallen Angel stocks that are down, that you go take a look at the charts and see if these are things you may want to trade. All right, now it's going to show here handpicked list down 30% plus from 52-week high. The sell-off has already happened. All right, so again, you can go in there and there's all kinds of things to look at. But let's take this a step further. Let's say you want to build your own list with your own criteria. Let's go back here. We're going to go back to all stocks. All stocks are going to give us a list of 2,439 stocks to work with. So the first thing that we want to do is to set our weeklies, because if you leave weeklies on any, you're going to get monthly options. You're going to get very illiquid options. It's always best to put these on weeklies, even if you don't trade weeklies, because you're going to get a much more tight bid-ask price and much more liquidity and a much better range to trade from if you need to repair any broken wheel strategies, which I'll go over in another video. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is set weeklies. Now you need to click the apply button here. Now notice we've already dropped to 425 stocks. That just really got rid of a bunch of stuff that we don't want to trade. Now, if you're a long-term investor, like a Warren Buffett type trader, right, or Mark Cuban, you might want to trade 2 years out. In that case, you would leave the weeklies on any, and you'd look at a different set of stocks. But that's a whole different reason than what we're trading for. We're trading for income. Let's go back to only. Now, the next thing you need to determine is your price range. I'm going to set this from, let's say $15 up to $150. And then I'm going to go ahead and apply again. And that drops our list. Now we're at 232 stocks to trade. Now you want your options on. And I'm going to set my IV to 40 and IV rank to 50. My AQ quality, which is assignment quality, am I happy owning this stock? I want it 70. And I'm going to come back over here and I want a safety on this stock. This has nothing to do with the options. This is this a good stock? So I'm going to put that at 70 plus. Volume, I'm going to leave it any for right now. And we're going to show all. And I think that's going to do it. And let's click apply and see where we wind up. Okay, now we've got 21 stocks. We've got a list to work with. All right, we go down this list. These are all high quality stocks, at least 70 and up. All of these stocks are in tier A plus. This is a live snapshot of current options conditions. That means these are very tradable. They should all have great premium on them, and they're all weekly stocks. All right, you want to take a look next at your earnings calendar. If you're concerned about trading over earnings, especially if you're trading weeklies, I tend to not trade weeklies. In fact, I'm moving a little closer. I was trading the 30, 45 days, and I'm going to start moving into 21 days out, but that'll be another video. But if you look here, you want to make sure that your earning dates are acceptable. If anything's in red, that means they're coming up quick, and you probably want to avoid those if you don't like trading over earnings. If you do, then you probably want to look at those. The black here means they've already reported. You're good there. Yellow is they're coming up, but they're 2 to 6 weeks out. And the green means that you're greater than 6 weeks away, okay? So just great color coding here for you to look at. So I may say in this specific case, I want to take a look at this one right now for trading FCX. It's funny, I'm in FCX, great stock. I've got a cash secured put on that. So now, what do I do with this list? Because even though I've got earnings coming up and I'm looking for maybe one to trade this week or one or two, doesn't mean that any of these that are red are bad stocks. They're great stocks. You've got a great list. Just once earnings is over, this will turn to green and you'll be set to go. Now, how do I get these in a watch list? Well, this last week we added this, add all, in this case 21, to a watch list. So I'm going to click this. Here's all the stocks. And I'm going to add to a watch list. I can either choose to add it to a watch list that I have, or I can add it to a new watch list. Okay, these are 2 watch lists that I have. In this case, so I'm going to create a new watch list. Let's call this my criteria, create and add. Now that's added. Let's close this. Let's go back and let's check our watch list. My criteria down here with 21 stocks, and there it is. And now you get your 21 stocks, and you can go into these stocks. Let's say, for example, let's look at FCX. So I know this stock. I'm going to click on it. It's going to open up just a quick synopsis of what financial numbers are. But if you want to go deeper, you can go straight into the deep analysis, and you can really look this thing through. Some of these are closed, and I closed them just to make it easier for you guys, but you can open it. This is a fortress. 6 out of 6 safety checks pass. It's amazing. And so you have just a plethora of information in here that you guys can look at. The second thing I want to show you here real quick too for selecting stocks, there's another button that I've added, and that's how to filter trades. Click that button, and this is an exact page. It's on the guide, or you can go over to the guide as well and find it there. And the screener tracks thousands of stocks, and here it's going to walk you through what I just did. And in this case, a little bit different settings, because I wanted to show you, you don't have to pick the settings that are on here. As you get in here and start playing around, you might say, hey, 20's too many for me. I only want 10. So now you're going to make some adjustments. Maybe you say from 150, you drop down to 100 or 80 or whatever. You know, I went 15 to 150 on mine in the other, what we just did. I would not go any lower than solid and safety, okay? Score 70 plus, don't go lower than that. In fact, if you've got too many, you can take that maybe a little bit higher. Go to 80. Assignment quality, same thing, you can play with that. Your implied volatility, these are pretty good numbers, but again, you can play with that as well. Hopefully you guys find this useful. Let me show you one more thing real quick though, that is brand new, and I hope you guys appreciate this. We just added this last week. This is the earnings calendar. And I kind of went through this and said, okay, what do we need on this? We added the actual image so you guys can look at this and see, hey, what am I looking at, right? So here, let's find one that's coming up. We can look at ADP. So let's click that, and it gives me a snapshot of all of ADP's reports, when the next report is due, valuation snapshot, analyst target range, and so on and so forth. Now, let's go back to the earnings calendar. Just click this back button right there. We're going to go back to it. Now, let's say I have a specific ticker in mind, and maybe on today's it's not showing, like there's nothing today. Today's Sunday. We can go to results of ones that have passed. But I have a specific one that I want to see, okay? And I'm going to go here and I'm going to type in SoFi, and there's my SoFi. Now I can click this, and it's going to, again, take me to that same report, and I can look at all of SoFi's earnings, and I can make sure that it meets the criteria for what I'm looking for to trade. So you have a plethora of ways to analyze and look at your stocks to make sure they're right. One thing I want to point out, you cannot control the markets. You can do all the research you want, and some rogue news event comes along and tanks your stock. It did that to me on PayPal, and I just did a video on PayPal how I wound up still making $1,000 on the year on it. It did that to me on SMCI. I made huge money on SMCI, but I got really nasty news when I was in both of those stocks, okay? SoFi got to hit a little bit, but I'm making great money on SoFi. And again, I talk about that in different videos because the volatility is what saved me on those stocks. If I had illiquid options and very low options, then I wouldn't be able to trade way out of the money on, or in very low volatility to fix those trades, okay? I love volatility. I want good stocks, but I love volatility. So there's always a risk the higher the volatility that you go. But as long as I know those stocks are solid names, there's no risk of bankruptcy, and I have a way to check that, then I'm going to trade it. The only stock that I have right now that I don't really like, but I took for the just amazing premiums and the fact that I can fix it if it goes $10 or $15 in the money, I can fix that easily, and that's Iron. It's the riskiest stock that I have, but I've only got one contract, and I made huge premiums on it, and it's all over the board if you follow Iron at all. So I'm okay. If this thing drops in the money by $10 or $15, I can still write covered calls on this thing, and I already made so much money on it, I could get myself back to break even again within 2 trades if it dropped that much. And I could also dollar cost average, although with Iron, I wouldn't do a lot of that, right? All right, hop on over, like, subscribe to OptyTrades, to this video, and hop on over to OptyTrades, join us. It's free, all right? Again, like, subscribe. I'll see you over on the channel, and watch some of my other videos. Have an awesome weekend, everybody.